Hello everybody, welcome back. In this video, we are going to be creating our Flutter project. So with that said, let's get into it and let's see how to go about this. But before I begin, I'll just quickly like to point out that I'll assume that you have Flutter completely set up on your computer and you know how the SDK needs to be implemented inside of your operating system. So to test if Flutter is or isn't installed on your computer, you can open up either the terminal app on Mac OS or the command line apps such as PowerShell or Windows Terminal on newer versions of Windows and type in Flutter. And if you do that, you should hopefully get all of this information. And if you do, then you know that Flutter is available. Once Flutter is available, the first thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to just show you the version of Flutter that is currently on my system. And that's Flutter version 2.2.3 and Dart version 2.13.4. So if you have any kind of issues during the process of developing this application and following me, the first thing that I'd like you to do is actually make sure that your Flutter version is either the Flutter version that I have or the one above it. So with that out of the way, let's get into it and let's see how to create the Flutter application. So to create my Flutter application, I've already navigated to the folder or the directory where I'm going to be keeping all of my code. Once I'm inside of the directory, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to do the Flutter create command. So this command is the same for either Mac or Windows or a Linux distribution if you're running. And then following this command, I'm going to have the name for my application. So I'm going to call my application Chatify app. And then I'm going to do enter. The Flutter CLI is going to take over and create the application for me. And once it's done, you're going to see that you're going to have this all done output as well as an output that says, in order to run your application, type the following command. Since I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code, I am actually going to be now opening up my project inside of Visual Studio Code and then moving onwards from there. So I'm just going to use the open command on my current folder. I'm going to open my current folder and I'll put this into Visual Studio Code. And with this, I'm going to close my Finder windows and I'm going to close my terminal window as well. And this is the brand new project that we had just created. The first thing that I'd like to do is that I'd like to go to the extensions section. And here I'm going to show you that if you type in Flutter, these are the following extensions that I recommend that you install. Firstly, I recommend that you install the official Flutter plugin. Then I also recommend that you install awesome Flutter snippets, very good auto completion abilities, as well as I'll say that you also install Flutter widget snippets, and that's pretty much all the extensions that you need to install. The first extension, however, I highly recommend because this will allow you to execute as well as debug your Flutter application from within Visual Studio Code. So once you have the extensions installed, now you can actually go to the Explorer window. You can click on the lib directory or folder, and then you can go to main.dart. And now what we can do is before we begin developing, we just like to test run our application and make sure that the project was created properly. So I'm going to firstly select the appropriate simulator. So that's done by going to the bottom right now. And keep in mind that depending upon the Visual Studio Code version as well as the Flutter extension version, the way in which you select the actual simulator might change, but the current version that I have, you actually go to the bottom panel and you click here, and then you have the device drop-down menu show up from where you can select the appropriate device. I'm going to select iPhone 12 and I've already started it, so it's here. And then once it is selected, you should see the actual simulator name here. And then I'm just going to go to the top and I'm going to click run and then start debugging. With this, now I'm going to wait for my application to build. And then once it's on the actual simulator, I'll resume the video from there. Thank you. Hello everybody, welcome back. So as you can see, the application has now successfully started and is showing up on our simulator. And just as a quick test of our hot reload feature working as well, what I'm going to do is that inside of our main.dart file, I am going to go down and for our my home page widget that's being initialized or created in this case, I'm going to change the title string that gets passed into it. And instead of saying Flutter demo homepage, I'm just going to say Chatify, and that's pretty much it, and do command save on the file. And as you can see, the hot reload actually worked and our actual title for our application changed. So that kind of tells us that not only is our application built properly, but the connection between VS Code and the actual application is working as intended. So with that, I'm going to end this video here, and now I'm going to see you guys in the next video. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.